Well, welcome everyone to the May 21st public meeting of the town of Conception Bay South, and a special welcome to all the folks joining us in the back of the room this evening and those online. We're going to start off, as we always do, with our land acknowledgement. The town of Conception Bay South would like to respectfully acknowledge the territory in which we gather as the ancestral homelands of the Beothuk and the island of Newfoundland as the ancestral homelands of the Mi'kmaq and Beothuk. We also respectfully acknowledge Labrador as the traditional and ancestral homelands of the Innu of Nitassinan, the Inuit of Nunatsiavut, and the Inuit of Nunatuavut. We strive for respectful partnerships with all the peoples of this province as we search for collective healing and true reconciliation and honor this beautiful land together. First up, adoption of the meeting agenda for May 21st. Moved by Councillor Connors, seconded by Councillor Butler. All in favor? Contrary minded? It's carried. And I'm waiting for the machine to work, or are we good to go? There it is. Okay. Technology is wonderful. And next up, the adoption of the meeting minutes from May the 7th. Moved by Deputy Mayor Goss, seconded by Councillor Hardy. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. And business arising from the minutes will be dealt with at this meeting and meetings in the future. And next up, we have visitors' presentations and petitions. We have a couple proclamations this evening, and Councillor Hardy, you're going to start us off with National Public Works Week.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. National Public Works Week, May 19th to the 25th, and the theme is Advancing the Quality of Life for All. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Newfoundland and Labrador. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public work professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees from provincial and municipal governments and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other infrastructures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Canada to gain knowledge of and to maintain a progressive interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. Whereas the year of 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association and Canadian Public Works Association, Be It Now. Resolved, I, Melissa Hardy, Councillor of Conception Bay South, do hereby designate the week of May 19th to the 25th as the National Public Works Week. I urge all our people to join in with representatives of the Canadian Public Works Association and government agencies in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to the public works professionals, engineers, and managers and employees to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life. In witness whereof, I hereunto send my hand and cause the seal of the town of Conception Bay South to be affixed, done on the 21st of May, 2024.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. We certainly owe a lot to the public works staff here in Conception Bay South, to the wonderful things that they do and the way they keep the town moving for us. So thank you for that. Next up, we have a proclamation for Early Childhood Educators Week. Whereas the Association of Early Childhood Educators of Newfoundland and Labrador represents those working in childcare and related fields throughout the province, and whereas early childhood educators provide a developmentally appropriate care and education to children from birth to age 12 in a variety of settings, and whereas such care and education fosters the social, emotional, cognitive, and physical growth and development of these children and supports families in a variety of ways. And whereas this support of children and families ensures the future of health of our society. Therefore, I proclaim the week of May 26th to June 1st, 2024 as Provincial Early Childhood Educators Week in the town of Conception Bay South. Okay. All right, next up, we have a very special guest with us here at the council this evening, and I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to invite him up here. Brandon Joy comes to us as a member of Team Canada in the for the national blind hockey team. Brandon, come on up. Don't sit in the back. We all want to see you. Excellent. I feel like doing the same thing, Brandon. Pleasure to meet you. And who do you have with you?
This is Kazi.
Kazi, yeah. Kazi is your best friend going around, I'm sure. Hey, Brandon, tremendous, a resident of Conception Bay South and a member of Team Canada. You just got back in April from the World Championships and you had some hardware with you. Tell us a little bit about what that was all about and what happened.
So the tournament was in St. Louis, from April 12th to the 15th, I believe. I can't remember the exact dates. But it was between Team Canada and Team USA. This is my first year ever being on the team, so it was really nice to be able to bring home the gold. It's pretty amazing experience.
Brandon, I understand with the support of your family and others, it's wonderful and it's great and it's what you really need, but you set this goal yourself and then everybody sort of gathered around to support you. You had set your mind on this before this was even possible. Tell us a little bit about that.
I've been playing hockey since I was 5 years old. I grew up in CBR minor hockey. I even continued playing regular CBR, house league hockey up until I was 17 or 18, even though I was already legally blind at that point. It was not until probably about 2 years ago that I really started to put in the effort to really try for Team Canada. I always had the dream of wanting to be on the team, but I didn't, at the time, I don't think I ever really knew what hard work really meant. But over the last few years, I think I've learned that. So it's pretty nice to finally be able to wear the maple leaf.
Yeah, and you seen this happening and you saw the opportunity and you didn't waste any time getting ready for it.
As soon as I realized, that I wanted to put in the work, I started training. I started hitting the ice as much as possible, and just trying to do as much as I can just so I can make that happen.
I'm gonna do my best Ron McLean now. Who do you want to thank? Who do you owe this?
I could thank my dad, my stepmom, my nan, and my sister in the back, and everyone else part of the family that's been able to help me out. And then I have a trainer who's been nothing but fantastic. I have nothing but good things to say about him, and he's just been an amazing help, and he's been very accommodating, especially with my visual impairment.
Well, all the best in the future, and hopefully you'll retain that gold medal again next year.
Hopefully so.
Brandon, thank you very much. We couldn't be prouder of you. Conception Bay South, Brandon Joy. Isn't that amazing? See how I can get a picture?
Big smiles.
I'm just wondering, Megan, does everybody in council have to do this picture? Come on up and we'll get a picture. We don't have too many world champions. Yeah. Pardon me, what does it work? Thank you for coming. Thank you. Yes. Okay, that's a good way to start a council meeting. Thanks, folks. Take care. All right, next up is new business, and new business, we're going to start with Councillor Tilley.
It's been a while since I got to go first. Thank you, Worship. I'm just going to touch upon one thing. Just want to send out, I guess, kudos to the Roland Flanagan Constabulary as part of their ongoing efforts to, I guess, curb speeding in Conception Bay South. They were in the town last week and they handed out a lot of tickets in the area of St. George's School. I mean, like, I know that's their job is, you know, to catch speeders, but I think ultimately, you know, us as individuals, the residents of the town of Conception Bay South, we gotta look in the mirror and ask ourselves the hard questions. You know, why are there so many people speeding on our roads in Conception Bay South? And, you know, guys, at the end of the day, you know, we got rules to follow and we're not doing a good job. And so I kindly ask that people probably, you know, take that second and look at your speedometer, especially when you're in the higher pedestrian areas of our schools. So, you know, just want people to just a friendly reminder that, you know, we've got rules in place for a reason. And so please abide by them. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Deputy Mayor Goss.
You never know which way you're going to go around this table. Just something quick tonight. On Thursday evening, I had the opportunity to go to Admiral's Academy and be a judge for their public speak off, which I was so impressed. I got to judge some wonderful grade sixes in their public speaking event. And, you know, I did public speaking when I was in junior high and high school. I competed at a number of different competitions. The Lions Club one was always a regular one that we went to. And I got to say, sitting at that judge's table wasn't very easy. And I had another teacher sitting with me who her and I were, while our judging levels were a little bit different, the two of us ended up with the same first, second, and third winners. But anyway, wonderful, wonderful kids. I was totally impressed with, you know, the way they, you know, public speaking is not a very easy thing, as we all know. I mean, we have many opportunities to speak publicly, and sometimes it's not very easy. And I was amazed by the kids. So there was competitions from grade 4 to grade 7. Grade 4s and 5s, I do believe. No, it was grade 3s, 7. 3s and 4s did recited a poem, and 5 and up did public speaking. So they had to write about something and deliver it. And the top winners all went to the gymnasium and they got to do their piece again. So we got to hear all of them. So from grade 3 on up, and it was quite a wonderful evening. And I got to commend the staff at Admiral's Academy, because I don't think all schools are doing it at that level. There was a lot of work went into it, and they were just so enthused, and all the teachers that I spoke to, they were so positive. And I think it's a real valuable thing for kids to do, to be able to get up or to learn or practice that getting up and speaking in front of people, because it's something that, you know, throughout your school years and your working career, it's something that a skill that you will come to use time and time again. Anyway, I had a wonderful evening, and I hope I get to go back sometime again.
Excellent. Thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm sorry that I missed that, but it's great that you were there, and I bet they were amazing. I know that, you know, those opportunities for young people are valuable. They're learning opportunities, and you get to practice your abilities and your skills and so forth. Lions do a great job on their speak off as well each year, and it's great. Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. This evening, I just want to talk a little bit about Healthcare Foundation and Oceanfront Lottery, as I have sometimes in the past. And we've all seen the ads, we've all seen the literature in our mailboxes and so on. The reason I bring this up is I just want to highlight for a minute the benefits for both the Healthcare Foundation and the town in the relationship that we have with them. This is the 6th $1 million home being built, or tickets being sold on in our town over the last 6 years. And the experience that the Healthcare Foundation has is obviously they've pretty much sold out every year. So it's been a very, very successful 6 years for them. From our perspective, it kickstarted a stalled development that had been just sitting there for some time, and now we've got close, I'm not 8 or 10 new homes in that development, 6 of them being the $1 million homes. We could never afford the advertising that we see on TV. And of course, the tax revenue from 6 $1 million homes is substantial, and that'll be with us going forward. So just want to encourage people to get out and purchase their healthcare ticket, and encourage the Healthcare Foundation to come by and build another 7th home for 2024-25. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Hilliard. There I am. Yes, no, it's tremendous. Gets a bit of activity out that way, and I'm sure it doesn't hurt Bergs on the way by to have a look at the house. So that's good as well. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just a one, May 9th, senior spring fling. As usual, full house and very successful. Councillors Barrett, Hilliard, and myself were in attendance and helped out where was needed. I do want to give extra thanks to our few local CBS volunteers who are always there, Johnny on the spot, or I should say Dallas on the spot, probably. And to our summer student staff, which are now on board now, they were there. And to the town staff, of course, who run the show and do a great job with it, and get all kinds of compliments from the seniors, about the staff and how well that they run the show there, We've got it down pat, it's about 1 hour exactly. And we have everybody fed and sitting back down and waiting for that music to start. So that's pretty good when you got about, I think, 250 people there. So again, it was enjoyable. I look forward to the next one. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Weren't you at the Inclusive Squash event this past week? Do you want to say a word or two there?
That's my mind. That's my age now, right?
They said you did a wonderful job there, so.
Oh my, yes, that was the squash closing ceremonies you're talking about, right? Yeah, of course, everybody knows Eric, and of course, he was delighted to have someone from the town to come and say a few inspiring words, is what Eric always says, and I think I would leave them to Darren. Darren's better at inspiring words than I am. But I did introduce myself as Mayor Butler, and they really laughed at that. They caught on right away, and they all chuckled and thought it was, you heard, did you? They quite enjoyed it. So, of course, I had the pleasure of giving out certificates to a number of them, and the accomplishments, is just unbelievable what they do, and they just love it, and they love each other. This camaraderie that they have with each other is just unbelievable. I can't believe I forgot about that. I was going through my calendar, and I always go through the calendar. Oh my. Anyway, it's been a busy day for me. Maybe I just, but thanks for reminding me of that. And it was a great evening to be there. And sometimes I'm real happy when the mayor can't attend things.
Okay. I just want to also say that, and I wasn't here the last council meeting, and I was to their event the week before. And you probably mentioned it, but Chris Andrews and Shannon Gannock were down supporting the group, and what a fantastic thing for them to do. And so thank you to Chris, and they really appreciated it. And of course, he's a star anyway, and of course a big star down there with them. So it was great to see them out. Councillor Moores.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I just want to remind everyone that our 3-hour challenge, community challenge, is coming up on June 8th, on Saturday, June 8th, from 9 to 12, and the rally begins afterwards at 12:30. So I encourage everyone to register for that. I also just want to send out a huge congratulations to all the graduates of Holy Spirit who had their graduation this past Thursday. Very exciting time and a very big accomplishment, a milestone to graduate from high school. So just a big congratulations to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moores. Councillor Connors.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And just one item, just wanted to give everyone who's probably been looking for an update on the ATV pilot project that we're still back and forth with the provincial government. We've exchanged some documents. They came looking for some documents and that, so it's still ongoing. And right now it's in the hands of the provincial government. So I just wanted to give an update on that. And that's it for me today.
Thank you, Councillor Connors. Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Just one thing this evening, pretty much a piggyback off Councillor Tilly's this evening about speeding in the school zones. This more is around, it's obviously the weather has been very accommodating the last 3 or 4 days. So just for all the residents to be extra mindful, a lot of kids are out playing soccer, riding their bikes. They're not thinking about cars coming and going. So with the increasing speed limits in the town, certainly make sure everyone's extra mindful because a lot of kids are out later in the evenings because the weather is accommodating and the sun is out longer. So just be extra careful when you're in the areas. Kids are coming from everywhere. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Hardy. Yeah, just on that note, I had the opportunity to do an interview with NTV last week after the RNC ticketed, I believe, 32 people in an elementary school zone. And while we were there, the numbers up on the feedback sign were anywhere from 35 to 58 while we were stood there. So, people aren't paying attention. They're not seeing, they're not looking for the signs. They're not reading the feedback, or they are and they just don't care. All I can say about it is that, boys, you got to slow down. It's okay, I suppose, if nothing goes wrong under perfect circumstances. But there's no room for error if something were to go wrong. You can't slow down, you can't stop. And these are your friends' children and your neighbors' children and your parents and your grandparents and your friends' grandparents that are at risk when you're speeding through school zones or residential neighborhoods or wherever. It's shocking. It's not surprising, I know. And everybody sees it. It just seems like when the sun shines and the road dries, everybody goes faster and there's no reason for it. What's it going to take you? 2 more minutes to get to wherever you're going. Figure it out, maybe. Do the math on it. How much time are you actually saving by going 15 kilometers over the speed limit? Not worth talking about. The risk is not worth talking about. Speed limits are there for a reason. This council brought in the 30-kilometer school zone speed limit in Conception Bay South for a reason. It's more necessary than ever. And I've said this over the last little while. We've had a meeting with the province. We've spoken about the camera feedback and what happened in the municipalities near us. And it's something that we're looking at. We hate to do it. It's not something you want to do. It's not something you want to do. We're not looking forward to doing these sorts of things. We're not happy. We have to say that the police are out in the school zone ticketing people. That's not it. That's not the message. The message is just slow down. Anyway, that's all I had for tonight. So I wanted to stop on that positive note and move right into our first order of the people's business. And that is the chair of who will bring recommendations for planning and development. And that's Councillor Gerard Tilley this evening. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Worship. The following are recommendations from our committee meeting held on the 13th of May. Item number 6A, number 1 to 3, and number 5, Commodore Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 5.10 and 4.15 of the town's development regulations, that the land use impact assessment report and its recommendations for development of single dwellings at number 1 to 3 and number 5 Commodore Place be approved. So moved.
Seconder, Deputy Mayor Goss. Any further discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. These lots are adjacent to the shoreline and Long Pond, and the area where houses will be built is within the moderate hazard area. Excuse me for a second. Identified by the provincial government due to their proximity to the shoreline and elevation above sea level. We asked the applicant to assess potential hazard to the proposed houses from coastal flooding and storm surge. The report identifies the minimum elevation for the houses to be set above sea level and to avoid potential damage from those types of events. We're comfortable that following the recommendations of the report will reduce most, if not all, the risk to these properties from the storm surge and flooding events.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you.
Item 6B, number 9, Albany Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 3.12 of the town's development regulations, variance is requested to reduce the building line setback from 10 meters to 9.37 meters and 9.05 meters for each lot under applications 3429 and 3430 for development of a double dwelling be approved. So moved.
Seconder. Counselor Moore's discussion. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6C, number 20 Tobin's Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 10.7 and 10.11.2 of the town's development regulations, that application number 3763 received on March 26, 2024 for a hobby farm use to keep 3 hens at 20 Tobin's Place be approved on condition that the property owner register with the provincial farm premises ID program. So moved.
Seconder. Council Butler, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, the property owner would like to keep 3 chickens on this property. The committee considered the concerns we heard from the neighborhood and feel that the concerns around noise, smell, and rodents can be mitigated with good management of the animals. As part of good management, this includes registration with the provincial farm premises ID program. And of course, this application will not permit roosters.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Your Worship, item 6D, 6 Windy Cove Lane, I have to declare a conflict of interest as I have a family member who lives in the very near area of number 6 Windy Cove Lane, and Councillor Morris will be taking over.
Great. Thank you.
Uh, 6D, 6 Windy Cove Lane. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 15 and 16 of the town's fence regulations, application number 3844 for a fence at 60 Windy Cove Lane be approved, subject to a maximum height of 2.4 meters, with the exception that any portion to be built forward of the front building line established by the dwelling be limited to a maximum height of 1.2 meters. So moved.
Seconder. Council Hillier, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6E, number 184 Garden Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with sections 5.8 of the town's development regulations and in consideration of the variable building line setback in the general area, that application number 3652 received on February 8, 2024, proposing to develop a single dwelling at number 184 Garden Road be approved with a building line setback of approximately 15 meters. So moved.
Seconder. Councilor Hardy, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6F. Number 2307 Topsail Road. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 6.7.1 and 10.11.2 of the town's development regulations, application number 3739 received March 2024 for home-based business esthetician services, makeup artistry, and microblading located at 2307 Topsail Road be approved, subject to the increased parking area. So moved.
Seconder. Councilor Moores, discussion.
Yes, Your Worship, we considered the comments around concern for increased traffic. And based on the application where there will be no more than one client at the home at any given time, we're not concerned that the increase is beyond what would be normal for many residential properties, and we're happy to see another new business set up here in the town.
I assume that the esthetician and microblading is not something you partake of yourself?
No, I don't avail of that very often or ever.
Okay. I won't ask Councilor Hillier. All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6G, Town Land Maya Place. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 201.2 of the Municipalities Act 1999, the town provide notice of its intention to convey approximately 113 square meters of land at number 16 Maya Place to the subdivision developer of Maya Place in consideration that the town believes that the land is surplus to town needs and its disposal would facilitate further economic development. So moved.
Seconder. Councilor Connors, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6H, number 2 to 10 Buckley's Path. Be it so resolved that under authority of section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000. Excuse me, come up on my screen. Conception-based out municipal plan amendment number 33, 2024, and development regulations amendment number 53, 2024 be approved as adopted. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, Miss Maria Ryan, she's the independent commissioner who held a public hearing regarding the proposed rezoning of this property, which is beyond White Bear Lane and Eagle Drive off Tilly's Road South near Peacekeepers Way. We tabled Commissioner Ryan's report at the last meeting and has been on our website since. Commissioner Ryan recommended that the town proceed with the rezoning and that we take a look at traffic in the area. The committee considered the report and our recommendations and are happy to move forward with the final step in the rezoning process. This rezoning could allow development of some additional housing units that would be geared for the retiree rental market. After tonight, and if council approves this recommendation, the file will be referred to municipal affairs for their final review before the rezoning comes into legal effect.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6I, 1659 to 1663 Conception Bay Highway. Be it so resolved that under the authority of section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Conception Bay South Municipal Plan Amendment number 34, 2024, and the Development Regulations Amendment number 54, 2024 be approved as adopted. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, just another file in the rezoning process. We published notices of a public hearing and sent those notices to the neighborhood. We did not hear from anyone, so as allowed by law, we canceled a public meeting where there has been no concern or thoughts expressed by the community since we started this process. We're recommending the council make the final decision to approve rezoning. If council accepts our recommendation, this will align the zoning boundaries with property boundaries in the area and allow for development of a couple of new houses on the main road just west of Daniels Road.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6J, 705 Conception Bay Highway. And again, I have to declare a conflict of interest in that one, as I have a family member who abuts the property that they're developing. And I'll hand it over to Councillor Morris.
Six J, 705 Conception Bay Highway and 10 to 14 Jeffers Lane. Be it so resolved that under authority of section 23 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, Conception Bay South Municipal Plan Amendment number 35, 2024, and Development Regulations Amendment number 55, 2024 be approved as adopted. So
Seconder,
moved.
Seconder. Councillor Connors, discussion?
No, this is just the next step in moving forward with this development.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Item 6K is an order from 163, 167 Conception Bay Highway. Be it so resolved that in accordance with section 109-4 of the Urban and Rural Planning Act 2000, the order issued on May 9th, 2024 to Regal Enterprises Limited requiring that work on the subdivision development at 163, 167 Conception Bay Highway, 177A Conception Bay Highway, and 3539 Talcville Road is hereby ratified. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, we find ourselves in an unfortunate situation where we are compelled by law to stop the development of a subdivision, as there has been an appeal of the approval filed with the adjudicator under authority of the Urban and Rural Planning Act. The law says that the development cannot continue until the adjudicator has made a decision on the appeal, and at this date, there is no date for when that appeal will be heard.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Your Worship. As Councillor Tilly said, as a result of this appeal, work has been shut down on that development, so there'll be no further excavation, no further tree cutting until the appeal is heard. Your worship, last council meeting, I brought forward a petition regarding the cutting of trees on that development. So as a result of this appeal being in place, we feel there's a redundancy here that whereby no more trees can be cut until the appeal has been heard. So we discussed that at the last committee meeting, and the decision was to defer the dealing with the petition until the appeal has been heard. We're not ignoring the petition. We certainly understand everyone's right and respect everyone's right to submit a petition, to sign a petition. That's the democratic process. As I said, there's a redundancy here between the petition and the appeal in that the same person instituted the petition has instituted the appeal. Both the appeal and the petition deal partially with the cutting of trees. And as I said earlier, there will be no further cutting of trees because until the appeal is heard. So it's been our decision to put it aside until such time as the appeal has been heard. Doesn't make sense for us to make a decision at this point in time. Then the appeal will be heard and it would be contrary to our decision. So we're going to put this on the back burner. As I said, we're not ignoring the people of Talkville and Pomeroy Place and the walkers on the trailway who signed this. We're just putting it to one side until the appeal is heard. And at that point in time, we will deal with the petition.
And of course, the resolution of the appeal may give some guidance one way or the other. So
Absolutely.
for council, so we'll see how that rides out. And you say there's no date for the hearing, and I think our experience is it takes a bit of time to get to a hearing. So
That's correct.
any other discussion? All in favor?
Right.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And finally, item 6L is our blanket recommendation. Be it so resolved that the discussions and decisions of the May 13, 2024 Planning and Development Committee meeting be accepted as presented, and the items are discussed are just so noted there. So moved.
Seconder, Deputy Mayor Goss. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And that's it from the Planning and Development world.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee, and that is Councillor Melissa Hardy.
Thank you, Your Worship. Seven A, approval to dispose of a Unit 251, a Sterling tandem truck. Be it so resolved that approval is given to dispose of Unit 251. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier, discussion?
This truck is out of service and it's not feasible to do any further repair. So we're just going to take it out of service and it's going to be replaced in the coming weeks.
It's beat out.
Pardon me?
It's beat out.
Absolutely.
Okay.
End of life.
Bed up, I guess is a better terminology, isn't it? Bed up. Any further discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
7B, sanitary sewer flow monitoring. Be it so resolved that approval is given to engage Biomax Environmental at a cost of approximately $40,000 to complete sanitary sewer flow monitoring in the area of Rodditz Road and Conception Bay South Highway, and funds are to be taken from the project account. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Butler, discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, this here is the first of many locations that are going to undergo some flow monitoring in the CBS area. And it helps us and the staff evaluate the real-time sanitary systems and the monitoring to help us further make decisions down the road.
And I assume some of those decisions are with regards to planning and development and so forth. Gives
Yes,
us a better idea of what's possible.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Any further discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
7C, approval to tender Phase 49 Water and Sewer Project. Be it so resolved that approval is given to tender Phase 49 Water and Sewer Project. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Connors, discussion?
Yes, I think it's a long overdue time. Everyone's looking to see what the streets are going to be. Certainly give the streets names here this evening, but we really need to take into consideration and be very cautious that the scope is dependent on the tender bids and any adjustments that need to be made. So the streets, I'm certainly going to say here this evening, again, it's has the opportunity to be moved. So the streets that are included in the Phase 49 Water and Sewer, Stagehead Road, Casey's Road, Brayside Lane, Dick's Place, and Dick's Lane.
Okay, and of course, they're next on the priority list as we follow that along quite astutely. It's great to be able to continue to work on water and sewer. It's something this council committed to do when elected and chipping away at it, as it were. So any further discussion on approval to tender on this one? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
7D, approval to engage engineering services, Gateway Lot 2. Be it so resolved that approval be given to engage Pinnacle Engineering for design and tendering services of Gateway Lot 2.
I'm
And-
sorry, Councillor Hardy, this one creeped up on me from the private, meeting, I
sorry.
think, so I'm going to step to the back of the room for a second on this, and I'm in conflict with regards to the reason you're spending this money.
And your worship, I've stepped out on this one as well, so I'll continue to do so.
Okay, start over. 7D, approval to engage engineering services for Gateway Lot Number 2. Be it so resolved that approval is given to engage Pinnacle Engineering for design and tendering services of Gateway Lot 2 at a cost of $57,700 plus HST and funds to be taken from the capital out of revenue account. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Tilly, discussion?
Yes, Deputy Mayor, this here is the next phase that is required in getting the site ready for the location that council has selected for the community center.
Okay, great. All in favor? Contramanded? Motion carried.
We put the gallery seating too far away from the council seating, I think, maybe. Anyway. Next up, Councillor Hardy.
All right, so before I read out our blanket recommendations, just want to give a couple of reminders to the residents. The yard waste program begins on June 3rd, and it's for the full month of June, so you can certainly visit our website for further details. The line painting will begin this week in school zones, especially if the weather is cooperating. So please obey to all signage and drive extra cautious through these work zones. And last but not least, this Saturday, May 25th, is our last bulk garbage drop-off for the spring. It begins at 8 a.m. at 43 Gateway Drive. So hopefully a lot of residents had some opportunities if you didn't go camping this weekend to get stuff ready to be dropped off. So a couple of reminders there. So be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions of the Engineering and Public Works Committee held on May 15th be accepted as presented. So moved.
We have seconder. Councillor Morris, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you, Councillor Hardy.
Thank you.
Next up, our recommendation of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee, and that would normally be Josh Baird. He's not here this evening, so who might it be? There it is, Councillor Morris. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. So we just have a blanket recommendation for the Recreation Leisure Services Committee report. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee meeting of May 16th, 2024 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder? Deputy Mayor Goss, discussion.
You can see a list of all the things that were discussed there. It was a pretty busy meeting.
A lot of talk, yep. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
And next up, recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Committee, and that is Deputy Mayor Andrea Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. Recommendations of the Administration and Finance Committee meeting. Item 9A, accounts payable checks. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payable checks totaling $457,639.10 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Tilly, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
9B, manual checks. Be it so resolved that approval be given to ratify manual checks totaling $43,263.52. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Morris, discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried.
9C, capital invoice approval. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $222,283.51 as per the attached report. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Butler, discussion?
This is just some engineering fees. Our capital works is not even begun yet, so this is a small report.
Yeah. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
9D, tax and other receivables. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable accounts as presented. There were two presented, one was approved and one was denied. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Connors, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
9E, rates and fees amendment. Ooh, this is a long one.
I'm going to claim a
Oh,
conflict on this one too, because it involves fees for my employer.
sure. Counselor Tilly, can you read that? It's a big one.
Number 9E, rates and, oh, sorry, wait for the. Nine E, rates and fees amendment. Be it so resolved that the section of the 2024 schedule of rates and fees pertaining to the Topsail Soccer Field be amended as follows. Topsail Soccer Field, Senior, Challenge Cup, Masters, Jubilee, Intermediate Groups, all the above registered with the CBS Soccer Association will pay $150 plus HST flat rate fee rental per game applicable for lights on or off. All above leagues having regular scheduled games will pay $150 plus HST flat rate fee per game applicable for lights on or off, and they practice for free. All other groups excluded from the above for Topsail Soccer Field, senior intermediate groups, half field $85 per hour plus HST, full field $150 per hour plus HST, half or full field lights $182.74 per hour plus HST. Please note as well that the Newfoundland Labrador Soccer Association charges $125 plus HST flat rate per hour for a full field regardless of light usage. Bookings and no-shows will be charged a 50% of the rental value unless cancelled within the town of Conception Bay South or the CBS Soccer Association 3 hours before the rental. So moved.
Discussion? This was actually our fees. We had some fees change in our last budget, and it was picked up that there was a small typo, and we're just amended the print in our fees, schedule of fees. Just test discussion. All in favor? Contrary-minded? Motion carried. Last item is 9F, and that's the Financial Services Department report. Be it so resolved that decisions and or recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of May 13th, 2024 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Counselor Butler. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And that's it. for
Thank
the-
you, Deputy Mayor Goss.
Thank you.
You've spent all the money that we made earlier in the meeting. Recommendations of economic development. I believe there was no meeting this time around. Counselor Butler? Yeah, okay. And does anybody have any reports from other committees that they said, oh no, Counselor Butler, go ahead.
Just briefly, yeah.
Yep.
Seniors Advisory Committee met on May 14th, so I just want to let you know that they're presently working on revising the age-friendly survey in the hopes of getting it ready to eventually go out to the residents of the town. Thanks.
Anyone else have a report from any of the committees that we sit on? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And that's everything for May 21st. We'll be back again, starting our summer meeting, I guess, schedule with June 11th will be the next public council meeting here in the chamber and on YouTube. So I'll call for a motion for adjournment. Counselor Tilley, seconded by Counselor Butler. All in favor? Thank you very much and good evening.